Hey fellas, what's up? Welcome back to Fitness and Beer. And I'm gonna get right after it. We're gonna take it to the street because we're gonna look at what's actually on the shelves.
So you'll definitely want to hang around because we're going to total out our findings, give you a breakdown, and then talk about what we think it all means.
I'm gonna pick the next razor to review by the razor that I see the most of on the shelf that's not Gillette. Oh yeah, did I mention we're starting with my local Publix?
And I'm about to count razors. Yes, we're going to count them.
Let's go. We're gonna go in 4 stores and see what they have on the shelves. And I think this is a good exercise that'll give us 4 different opportunities to assess what it is that it looks like. And we can see, hey, what is it that they're marketing us? Okay, so I'm pretty sure everyone around me thinks I'm crazy, but we gotta get it done. And anyway, looking at our first display in my local grocery store, and you're really hard pressed to find a razor that's not Gillette. Okay, detour to getting a $5 sushi roll. That traffic is loud, but that's not gonna stop us. So here we are going after display number 2. Let's see what they're out here offering the people. So here in Walgreens with display number 2, we've gained a little bit more variety. We've added Dollar Shave Club and Bic to the mix, but it's still, a lot of the shelving space is still heavily owned by Gillette. I don't think there's any safety razors on this display at all. No, there is one, and that's the King C Gillette. Yeah, that's it. The 50 options out here, it's quite obvious what they want you to buy. You would think that Walgreens and CVS would each just kind of pick their own little independent corners, but here's Walgreens, and then CVS is right there. Surprisingly, this display is much more balanced as far as brand names are concerned. And what's interesting is I'm seeing the names of some brands that, quite frankly, I've never heard of. I've never heard of Bulldog or Goodline, or I guess what it's called is Fitz or Blade. The Intimate razor shows what a caveman I am. I didn't even know like a specific razor for your pubic hair. Go figure, hey, gotta make money.
I had to bring in a 5th entry, and yes, I had to do it. I don't know if you can see that right there. We're not too bougie to go do Walmart. Come on, guys, let's go get it done. So here we are checking out the Walmart men's shaving section. And one of the things that I noticed right away is their shaving section is actually not as comprehensive as I would have thought. And I know this can vary from Walmart to Walmart.
We're gonna turn to this great bastion of the American way, Target. Woohoo, I got lyrics. Now, real talk, I probably could have made this same selection in Walmart, but if I'm gonna be honest with you, I like Target better. This will be the razor section where we finally make our selection. Man, I don't know what it is with me and rhyming today, but there's a couple things that strike me, and that's 3 out of the 4 razor sections that we've looked at today were heavily dominated by Gillette. So they're pushing that real hard. And then the second thing that occurred to me is, although it's not always the biggest displayed, the razor company that I saw show up the second most was actually Schick. I also find it ironic here that Harry's has a rather big display in Target. But anyway, let's get on with the business.
All right, we got it done. We've taken inventory of what was actually on the shelves. Now, let's head back to the lab and talk about it. Let's get it done.
Yo, fellas, welcome back to the lab. I'm Larry Powell, and hey, thanks for being here. Thanks for checking out this video. And today's little experiment actually yielded more surprising results than I initially thought. So first, let me tell you how this whole project came about. And that's because on this channel, I like to try to figure out what's best for the average guy to shave with. And in order to do that, I think that you need to look at what the average guy is presented with. I had an idea. I wanted to know what was the razor that was presented most often as an alternative to Gillette. And so I went into the stores and started counting the inventory and realized there's actually a lot of interesting assertions that we can make by taking a look at the results. It wasn't as scientific as I thought it would be. And there's a couple different reasons for this. And the first is that product line does not necessarily equate evenly to shelf space. And what I mean by that is one product might have 2 rows on the shelf, or it might have 10. Another reason for that, not all of these companies conduct business the same. For example, Harry's only has like 1 or 2 cartridge options, if that. And then the last reason, lots of time there is variation on the same product line. In order to cut through all the noise, I broke it into something that I call selections. And each product line would be a selection, and that product line needed to be represented in its entirety. So that means both the handle and the replacement cartridges had to be available. If there was repetition within the same product line, we did not count that as a selection. But if there was actual physical changes to the razors, then yes. Okay, what else did I find after taking the time to look at all of these displays? Well, there's the obvious thing. Gillette's domination of the overall shelf space. I mean, if you take a look at this graphic right here, you can see out of the 128 selections that we observed across 5 stores, 48 of them, for a whopping 37.8%, belong to one company, and that was Gillette. And just to put that in perspective for you, that's the same exact amount as Schick, Harry's, and Bix combined. The next thing that I observed, which I find super interesting, is there was product lines that were in all 5 stores that I looked in. And those would be the Gillette Skin Guard, the Gillette Labs with the exfoliating bar, the Gillette Pro Glide, and the Gillette Fusion 5. And then Schick actually had a contribution, and the Schick Hydro, as well as the basic Harry's razor. So overall, there were 6 specific product lines that were in all 5 stores. Okay, and the next thing that I observed, and this one is a huge deal, out of the 128 selections that I saw, there were 3 selections that were safety razor. And 2 of those, wouldn't you know it, happened to be the Gillette King C. The other thing that really surprised me is the number of disposable razors out there. Nearly half of the options out there are disposable, which tells me that a lot of guys that are buying their razors off of the shelf are buying disposables. And you know, that's really interesting, because when I look at a disposable razor and it's essentially like, hey, we're throwing this whole thing away every time we're done using it for 5 days or a week or however long, that you're using a razor, it just seems like a lot of waste to me. The most efficient and the best for the environment is probably going to be a safety razor, because the only thing that you're disposing of each time is this very small, thin razor blade. One of the biggest competitors when it came to shelf space, along with Gillette, was what I would call generic or no-name brands. And so this would include your Walgreens brand or your Walmart brand, or I think it's called Great Value, but nearly 20% of the shelf space was used by generic brands. So that is telling me that, hey, there's a lot of guys out there, they just want to get it done, and they just want to get it done cheaply. And hey, I understand. And I know inevitably I'm gonna get asked the question, hey, what is it with you? Why do you talk about Gillette so much? Do you hate Gillette? Do you love Gillette? What's the deal there? And the answer is, I really don't care about Gillette one way or another. But what I do care about is observing the options that we're presented with as consumers. Just kind of taking a step back and saying, hey, when I step into this aisle, what's happening to me? What am I thinking about? What are my eyes really seeing? And ultimately, how am I making this decision? Because the more information that we have, the better decisions that we can make, and we can get better value for our dollars. And that's really what I'm after. So the razor that I saw the most of on the shelves that was not Gillette happened to be right here, which is the Schick Hydro, and I ended up purchasing the sensitive version right here. And so this will be our next review. I'm sure that'll be up here at some point in time. But hey, thanks for watching. Thanks for joining us. Until the next time, fitness and beer. Let's go.